Hey, also for this video, I wanted to kind of talk about post-COVID fatigue, and I want to talk about this from a personal experience and not related to any of the clinic work that I have been doing. So as I've shared previously, I had COVID in December. I have no idea how I got it. Anybody that I came in contact with before and after I found out that I had received a positive test had tested negative. So it must have been from the grocery store. I mean, it could have been through work. At the time, I was seeing patients with COVID, but I'll never really know. So my main symptoms were kind of just 1 degree fever, which isn't even technically a fever, some chills, cough, headache, basic like cold type symptoms. I walk to work every day. It was December, but nothing major. No shortness of breath or anything, other than the fatigue. And it's February now. It's basically 2 months, month and a half, 2 months from when I found out that I had COVID, and the fatigue is still probably the one lingering thing. So once I finally was able to return to work, I'd pretty much go to work, come home, make dinner, fall asleep on the couch, wake back up at like 8 o'clock, do any prep work I needed to do or whatever for the next day, and then go to bed at like 8:30 and sleep until like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So I mean, I was sleeping 10, 11 hours, and I did that probably for like a week and a half, and I'd sleep in on the weekends. I'd sleep like 12 hours on the weekends, and typically I'm a 6 to 8 hour sleep guy. There's been some years in my life where I was like 4 to 5 every night. So then I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't go to the gym really, otherwise I was just exhausted. I'd go to the gym and I'd walk on the treadmill for like 20 minutes, and then I'd be exhausted, come home and fall asleep. And so that lasted for probably 3 to 4 weeks after I was cleared. And even just like walking up the steps at work, walking up a couple flights of stairs, I would like actually be tired, not just joking around like I'm short of breath because I'm out of shape, like actually tired, like dang, like that like was not as easy as it should have been. And then I like tried to start easing my way back into the gym, and got to a point so I could go to the gym, but I could only go for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and no real cardio or super intense stuff. It was kind of lifting weights, relatively light, maybe 10 minutes of walking on the treadmill, and I could feel my heart pumping. And same thing, come home, in bed by 9 o'clock, no problem, passing out, and just sleeping any chance I got. Come home from work, half the time I'd end up taking a nap, get up, fill out my mentor form, do dinner or whatever, go to the gym, and then come back and go right to bed. Now, first week of February, I'm finally able to kind of go to the gym, do some extra stuff, have energy and time to make these videos, read some research articles. But still, there's times where I fall asleep. I'm sitting there eating dinner, finish eating dinner. I'm like, I'll finish the episode of Family Guy or whatever. I was in the middle of when I finished eating, and next thing you know, I fall asleep for a half hour, and that still kind of continues. I still have no problem sleeping at night for the most part. So the post-COVID fatigue, and I'm relatively healthy, young male, and wasn't in the best shape beforehand, but now like even at the gym, getting my endurance back up is super difficult. Walking on the treadmill for a half hour, like getting to that half hour with a weight workout is difficult, and that's just a slight incline walk at an average pace. So I think that's important to consider. Anybody that that might be coming back from COVID, or things to consider with our patients who maybe were not in the best of shape or were deconditioned beforehand. This post-COVID fatigue that you hear everyone kind of talking about, honestly, I didn't want to admit it to myself that post-COVID fatigue, whatever, that's a bunch of BS. I'm not going to have that happen because I'm a young, healthy, fit guy, and it really did. And sometimes it still like hits me. And pretty much what I notice is as soon as I stop moving, my body just wants to fall asleep. It's like if I now our schedule is different. We don't really work any full days, but we work every day. So then we have time to work on our research project and things. And if I come home to like read articles or whatever, and I take a second and just mentally decompress on the couch, like 50% of the time I end up falling asleep for like 10-15 minutes, which is really annoying. But I think it's something that is something to consider when working with patients who are post-COVID, and then also just something to consider, if you've had COVID, be kind on yourself, give yourself that time to sleep. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to do extra things on top of whatever your daily responsibilities are. That's one of the big reasons I'm behind on all these videos and getting podcasts out, was I, pretty much only had energy to attend to residency stuff. I had to do that stuff. That's what's most important to me right now. That's my main responsibilities. And then I felt like for me, getting back into the gym, getting back in shape, and getting kind of my typical routine down was more important than getting the content out. Because at the end of the day, I got to take care of myself. And so if you've had COVID, be kind on yourself. COVID fatigue is real. Post-COVID fatigue is real. I've talked to a number of people who have had COVID who endorse kind of the same type of feeling. It's like this fatigue / just like tiredness and easy fatigability throughout the day and throughout exercise. So be kind on yourself. Consider it if you're working with people who have already had COVID, and take this seriously. Wear a mask. And I know in the hospital we're wearing surgical masks at all times. And then anytime I'm in a patient room or patient care area, a lot of times I'm wearing an N95 and then a surgical mask on top of it. And then obviously going into COVID rooms, we're wearing the full protective equipment. But wear a mask. It's not that difficult. You could be, saving somebody else. Even if you're not at a high risk, try and limit your exposures to other people. And we'll get through this. It's going to pass at some point. Just stick with it and, listen to the CDC. There's people that are way smarter than a lot of us that, are making these decisions. So that's kind of my little soapbox on post-COVID fatigue and my personal experience with it. But stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.